Got your Masters DFS breakdown. Here are the highest priced golfers. Dustin Johnson, the highest price on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Bryson DeChambeau, more expensive than John Rahm and FanDuel, but Rahm, the second most expensive on DraftKings. You see Rory McIlroy, even Brooks Koepka is up there, despite the fact that many of us didn't expect to see him this week at the Masters coming off of surgery. So let's get you some advice. We've got Mike McClure, we've got Rick Gehman, and we've got winning buys. So let's start with the good buys, guys. Rick, give us some guys that you could target for under, I don't know, 7,000 or so.
Yeah, I've got a couple of guys for you. The soft pricing allows for some really great guys in that sub $7,000 range, and I'm looking at Ryan Palmer and Phil Mickelson. Ryan Palmer has been one of the most valuable fantasy golfers for the last 18 months. He's been absolutely phenomenal, always underpriced. He's got countless top 5 finishes at some of the more difficult courses and deepest fields that we have on the PGA Tour. And Phil Mickelson, I am not a big Phil Mickelson guy, but the metrics are really trending in the right direction for him. He has gained strokes on approach in 4 of his last 5 starts. That's something he has not done since February of 2019. And now he goes back to a place where he's piled up 15 top 10s. Of course, the 3 times a winner at the Masters. These are 2 guys that are way down the board that give you a lot of salary cap relief.
I was glad to see you mention Ryan Palmer there. I like that play a lot, Rick. I have 2 guys that are similarly priced. Corey Connors, 6,900. I know Corey Connors is going to be very popular in this field, and for good reason. He stands out as one of the most underpriced players in the entire field here at 6,900. My simulations actually make him 7,900 in terms of his DraftKings salary, so excellent value. The question with Corey Connors is always, what is he going to do with the putter? He has that kind of notation that he's not good with the flat stick. However, he has gained strokes putting in 4 of his last 5 events. If that is working, he is live to potentially even win this event. I've nibbled at it on a little outright ticket. I like it a lot. And then similarly, Jason Kokrak, 6,900. He has finished top 10 in 3 very competitive fields this season. He's playing the best golf of his career, in my opinion. He missed the cut at this event, the November Masters. However, I expect the course to play drastically differently this time around. He's going to be significantly undervalued, and he's someone I think you can pair with Corey Connors in a lineup to bring down that overall ownership of your lineup.
All right, those are some cheap good buys from our sports line experts. How about some bad buys? Mike, a lot of people all over Jordan Spieth after breaking through last week.
Yeah, everybody kind of knew I was going to be on Jordan Spieth in terms of the fade here. So like Corey Connors, he does probably stand out as someone who is underpriced. The issue is he's a $9,400 player who's overpriced or underpriced. His ownership is basically going to break records here. I think it's going to approach 40% even in some of the contests. And the issue that I have with that, even at this price point, even at the discount you're getting, you need a top 5 finish. You head over to the betting market and look, his odds at a top 5 finish, which I think we can all agree that the betting odds are inflated at this point, they imply 30%. His ownership's going to outweigh his probability of even having a top 5 finish. I think for me personally, it's one of the easier fades in the field this week. And then I'm also going to fade Lee Westwood. Similar reasons in that the price point is middling. He doesn't really have true win equity in a field this stacked. I think there are many better options. As great as it would be to see him win, I would be happy to see it happen. I don't think it's realistic in this field. I don't think it's realistic in DFS at $8,800.
My bad buys are guys that I've got a lot of questions about. Rory McIlroy, extremely expensive. We know he hasn't won a golf tournament since 2019. He's going through not swing changes, but he's working with a new swing coach to try to get things figured out because he has not played all that well. Even if he can figure out the driver that has let him down over the course of the past couple of weeks, even if he can figure out the wedges that have let him down over the last year or so, he still has to find a hot putter. I just think his path to victory is much more narrow this time around than it has been. And then Brooks Koepka, the absolute biggest question mark in this field. He shows up at Augusta National just 19 days removed from a procedure done on his right knee, and he's taking full swings. It's absolutely insane what he's doing. I've seen a lot of swings from Brooks Koepka this week. Some of them looked very strong, very good. Some of them looked ginger. Like it looked like a struggle. It looked difficult for him. I would much rather just bet him outright, not have to worry about any other position, but he's too much of a risk for me in a DFS format.
Both those guys teeing off in the 10 o'clock Eastern hour on Thursday. Let's move to golfers to target. Rick, what about a guy like Daniel Berger? He's only played the Masters 3 times. Pretty good finishes all 3 times, top 35s.
Certainly is. He's a well-rounded player, which is what I like at Augusta National. And I've got two well-rounded players that I'm trying to target as well. The first one being Patrick Cantlay. He's more well-rounded. He's absolutely phenomenal from tee to green. We can catch him with a hot putter at times. And since the calendar has changed to 2021, there has been no better player than Patrick Cantlay from tee to green. And Paul Casey, not as well-rounded. You know, he is a golfer who is going to be reliant on his putter. However far that takes him is probably going to determine his finishing position. But another guy who has been absolutely stunning since the calendar changed to 2021. His metrics are great, and they don't even include his victory on the European Tour. So by all accounts, Paul Casey's PGA Tour, his strokes gain metrics, anything else you want to look at are actually better than what we're seeing because of that win being left out.
I love those plays, Rick. You mentioned the all-around player, well-rounded. I like your play there with Cantlay. I think we have the similar thing here with Daniel Berger. The only real question on Berger here is the ownership going to be too high? I personally don't think it will be now because of the love for Jordan Spieth, and we have some of those guys like Corey Connors that could eat into the ownership, and the fact that the pricing is soft enough you can play essentially whoever you want. I love Berger here. He gained strokes in all four categories. He is 3 for 3 making the cut at the Masters. Great all-around game. He's right on the fringe of having true legitimate win equity at this event. I think he can win it outright if everything falls his way here. So I love him at $8,500. Sergio Garcia, very similar, kind of similar to Paul Casey here. But the major question with Sergio, just like Corey Connors, who I mentioned earlier, is can he putt? If he's going to gain strokes or even be even to the field with the flat stick, he is a legitimate threat to win this. We look for guys with Masters experience. He checks that box as well. I love him at this price point because it's not extreme elite value, but he's certainly not overpriced. Very easy to get into lineups. Love Sergio Garcia this week.
All right, Mike McClure, Rick Gehman, thank you so much for your DFS plays for us here on HQ. You can hear these guys on several different podcasts. Early Edge podcast, which is your daily picks in under 10 minutes, available by 11 a.m. Eastern time each and every day. The Sportsline Betting Podcast. And Rick also on the First Cut podcast, which you should follow today. Going to be a very busy week leading up to the Masters, which begins on Thursday morning. First tee times 8 a.m. Eastern time. Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.